What is worst thing you've ever masturbated to? A pic of a taco. In the movie Freddy vs. Jason, the scene where Freddy is the camp counselor, and then flash forward to the part where she's dead and he still her. I don't remember that scene. Gore. Al or Tipper? When I was in the 5th grade, the craziest thing was the dictionary definition of the word vagina. Damn, you was horny. So what is the definition? Friend sleeping in the same room as me. Robert Plant. And I am a guy. Robert Plant is so majestic he transcends sexuality. A Pornhub video of a girl farting out milk then drinking it. These got milk. Commercials are getting stranger. Obviously Les Cousins Dangero. I knew a girl who admitted she once masturbated to the Game of Thrones scene where a guy's dick gets cut off. She claimed it was because of the power dynamic and her thing for Iwan Rion. Sims flirting. I'm so ashamed. When you're about to bust a nut, and then they cut to the guy, at which point, he is making a face like a bus just went over his foot. No comment to make other than OP's username is most likely something he actually isn't. A guy getting pegged by an amputee's half leg. I guess he got his ass kicked. Gay porn. I'm not gay, I think. I had a wet dream that I was a vegan and my ex-wife was force-feeding me ham. Not my proudest moment, but I have this pair of panties that belong to a close relative and yeah. A picture of Lily Allen, while at work. Where was she working? Extra curvy piece of driftwood. To completion, a Girls Gone Wild commercial. This comment section. This comment. An AskReddit video. I got a huge big fat hard on watching James Spader sticking it into a hole in a woman's leg in Crash, but I'd like to think I thought of something else while rubbing one out later. The worst was when I was in the bathroom being a horny teenager when I saw my older sister's knicker. Took it and did my thing. Afterward felt so disgusted with myself. All sins were forgiven, until you called it a knicker. I was 11 and I just barely started puberty. I was so horny that I jerked off to a Barbie Miracle. A game called Metal Slug 3 on PS2 a long time ago. In that game there's these maggot creatures that kinda explodes and killed your character with its blood. If you're using a female character you can see their breasts for a split sec. This and the KYAAA screams made my teenage self very horny. Guy a giant gummy bear. In my defense, he had a really nice dick. Don't know if it makes it better or worse that I'm female and generally have next to no sex drive. This thread. A woman and a goat. In the early 2000s I'd go to this porn site called The Hun. They just mixed all the links together on a homepage without sorting them by genre. Straight, gay, trans, even animals. I can't tell you how often my old ass computer would lag, resulting in me clicking the wrong link. Because of this I've seen pictures of a lady sucking off a horse. Photos, nudes of me. What the duck was wrong with me? Are you hot? I once saw a gif of a guy with a huge dick an obese woman's belly button. I didn't exactly masturbate to it, but I also didn't stop either. Britney Spears, Toxic. The music video with her in the schoolgirl uniform came out right when I was at puberty. Thanks to that video I have a schoolgirl fetish. A schoolgirl fetish. Kirby's calling the police. Rachel Ray. I'm not proud. She had a photoshoot with a lad mag where she was dressed in lingerie. About 8 years ago. Top quality. Kim Possible Porn Comics. Thanks for the unnecessary link that nobody asked for and I totally didn't click on. The first house I bought was being sold because the parents got divorced and the mom couldn't keep up with the house payments, so she and her 2 daughters had to downsize to an apartment. The older daughter was a couple of years younger than me and quite attractive. Since I lived alone, the other bedrooms in the house were left empty and unused, but one day I decided to give it a go in her old bedroom she lost because her parents split up. A calculator totaling 58,008. That one scene in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire where Voldemort has Harry held down and telling him he wants to kill him or whatever. The lingerie section of the Sears catalog. Porn was not easy to get your hands on when I was starting puberty. A porn parody of the movie Roots, where this very hung black guy is his master's wife while he was on a hunt. This is literally as up as anything I've read on the internet. I spent several years in the US Marine Corps as an infantry rifleman. That is a group of special people. One day I needed to take a dump, so I went into the porta shitter. Thought it would be funny to poop in the urinal, so I did. It was large, and had some blood on it. Hilarious, I thought, but it could be improved. So I jacked off on it, and left. I never heard a word about it, but I can only imagine what the next guy thought. I had just discovered masturbation at 12 and I was watching the movie American Psycho. The scene where he's banging all the girls right before the infamous chainsaw scene is when something came over me to whip it out and jerk it. It wasn't necessarily the scene itself that triggered it, but for some reason something came over me and I watched the entire scene while I did it. Very strange. 177013 I didn't expect anything. I was never the same again. Candice Bergen, I had a weird thing for Murphy Brown. A bicycle seat. It's the perfect shape for a woman or man is what my inner voice said when I saw it. Anatomically, I knew my brain was wrong, but my balls never seemed to care about small details like where a person's orifices are actually located. 177,013. Video of myself masturbating. Probably, was too scared to look at actual porn, so decided to make some. Episode 192 of Yu-Gi-Oh! When the card Gingerbread House increases Luster Dragon's ATK to 2,500 and then destroys it, which was represented by the dragon eating the sweets and getting super fat. Something was awakened in me that day. That end scene from Sausage Party. I just watched that because of your comment. I have an erection, but instead of blood, it's full of shame. In high school I jacked off to a girl I liked using a picture from her MySpace page. That's just called high school, my dude. It's good to know I'm not the only freak in the world. The scene in Irreversible. When I was 12, I jacked off to the South Park scene where Martha Stewart shoves a turkey up her ass. I later found out she was voiced by a guy. There was this one vid with a freaky-looking girl with a super deep voice getting double-fisted by another girl and had to come to get the other girl's hands out because she was stretching her so much. If anyone else has seen that vid, let me know. Most shameful fap. Not the worst thing, but that Simpsons episode where Marge got a boob job. I can't tell you. Too ashamed. Yeah, me too, but I asked. So you gotta tell me anyway. I asked you. You tell me. Garfield hentai. The question was worst, not best. A video of a white, middle-class, married, heterosexual couple having sex in the missionary position for the purposes of procreation. You sick f***. Once on Google Images I found a nude picture of some random girl, and it looked exactly like the girl in my high school who everyone considers hot. One time I accidentally left it up on Safari and I opened it in front of her. She didn't see it, but a couple other people did. Long story short, I'm now kind of a badass cause they all thought she sent me nude. She's also very religious and wants to wait till marriage. Not the weirdest thing, but I've beat my dick to that multiple times and I don't regret it one bit. My parents' bedroom and my bedroom shared a wall. For a long while, our beds were on opposite sides of the same wall. I used to listen to them fornicate and would become quite excited, often pleasuring myself during this time. Little did you know, we were listening to you, too, Chuki. The Incestables. Naked Pepe. Oh my god. My friend's mom's wedding photos. My brain briefly omitted the word friends and was like, dude. Most recently Katie Booman. I couldn't help it. Throwaway because I'm deeply ashamed of this. Suspected my partner of a decade was cheating on me. Set up a bunch of surveillance to confirm, including recording her Skype calls. Confirmed she was cheating on me. Evidence included Skype phone sex calls. I was devastated. The relationship ended. I was extremely depressed, bordering on suicidal. Well, not even bordering. I was very much planning to kill myself for a while. Anyway, as angry and hurt as I was, there was a part of me that was still completely in love with her and missed her. There were a couple times I listened to those recordings and masturbated while pretending she was talking to me because the sound of her voice and hearing her orgasm was the only thing that could get me hard. Then afterwards I would cry and want to kill myself. I just feel bad now. I'm sorry, man. Hope you're doing okay. Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley on Pornhub. Not me, but a friend of mine masturbated in class next to this THICC girl. When she got up to use the restroom, he sniffed the seat where she sat. A week later he moved. Rue McClanahan from Golden Girls. My brother's girlfriend and now current wife. Once while they were having sex in the same room where I was also sleeping. That's f***ed up. We were on a family camping trip and had rented out a couple cabins at a campground. The kids stayed in one, the parents in the other. My brother and I each brought along a friend. My brother had just started dating this girl, so I told the parents she was my friend, so she could come with us. I had no interest in my brother's friend. Mid-evening, they thought we were sleeping, so my friend and brother joined the same bed and started going at it. She was extremely hot and I've always been into girls just as much as boys. She was on top of him, her large breasts bouncing up and down. She was moaning, and nature just took its course. For the record, my fun time came solely from watching her do her thing. There was no brotherly love involved. He was on the bottom, half covered in blanket, her on top of him, and our beds were at the same level, so I honestly couldn't really even see him. The Wall. Donald, is that you? The jogging yard scene in Schindler's List. In my defense, this was in the 90s, before the ubiquity of porn that is the internet. Still though, the FBI has removed this comment. This will get buried, but one time I was home alone and women's tennis was on, namely Maria Sharapova. She's pretty hot, but when she hits the ball she makes that loud sex grunt. The chick she was playing was also making loud sex grunts, and, well, I jerked it to them playing tennis and imagined it was them having sex. Good nut. The character Isis from Pilotwings 64. There was nothing else in the house. The Pilotwings manual had to do. Watching Nickelodeon when I was 12. The when I was 12 seems like a really important addition. Niece try FBI. Does anybody have a screen cap from 4chan of the guy who admitted to fapping to Yoda's death scene in Return of the Jedi? You know the tree scene in 1981 Evil Dead, that. My music teacher, she was a BBW and had huge bouncy breasts. Dude, I was too young, but the wrestler editor in WWE SmackDown on PS1, I don't know, the female wrestler character just looks so blocky and hot. Hell, I think I'ma do it again. If I can get a hold off a PS1 and the game, might take a while. Meanwhile Op is jacking off to the weirdest things other people have jacked off to. Vicious cycle. Finally my time to shine. I was pretty young, maybe like 8, 9, 10, something like that. Too young to be able to ejaculate, but old enough to get a funny feeling in my penis and want to play around with it to no results sometimes. One night I wandered out of my room and my parents were watching something in the living room. It was in black and white and there seemed to be a bunch of naked people walking around, and then the naked people were in a big pile. At this point my parents realized I was there and yelled at me to go back to my room, and what was on TV wasn't for kids. I thought it was some kind of porn. It wasn't the first time I've caught them watching something like Cinemax or something I wasn't supposed to see. That image popped up a lot in my early fruitless wiener rubbing sessions. Naked people in a big pile. Yeah. Many years later I saw the footage and recognized it as parts of it had been burned into my younger mind. Unfortunately it was part of a Holocaust documentary and the naked people had been killed and put into a big naked pile to be dumped into a mass grave. Very seldom does something start with "my time to shine" and end with "fap to corpses of Holocaust victims." I was like 12, had stayed up and watched the episode of Robot Chicken with the sketch where a guy sexually assaults the Snuggle fabric softener bear. It was that. I have no excuses for it. That old show they used to come on Comedy Central drawn together. A real human woman getting in the ass by a real horse. There isn't enough gigabytes for me to write about all the shit I've fapped to. I have a mutual friend who told me once that she knew two boys that wanked each other off while watching porn, so they went over to each other's house just to hang. Then both decided they were horny, but instead of doing it themselves they both sat close to each other and pulled each other's dick while watching porn. Now that is friendship. Then it's definitely not gay. That scene from Requiem for a Dream, you know the one.